This is my Altair 8800 clone. This is an Arduino clone of the Altair 8800 computer, which was one of the first commercial desktop computers. This is just a replica, by the way, which I built into a nostalgic looking box just to give me a better feel for what it was like to use one of these things. Now you can program this computer and use it entirely standalone by using the switches on here to select memory locations and to push data directly into memory, and then you can run and stop programs using the control switches down the bottom here. It's really hard work doing that, so very quickly people found other ways to do it, and so we can connect this to a terminal, and probably can't see that very well because of screen reflection. There's a reason I'm not using a screen recorder, by the way, which we'll look at in a moment. So we can load programs via the terminal. We can interact with the computer via a terminal environment, and that becomes a lot easier because we can use screen and keyboard. So for example, let's load 4K Basic. So I need to set those to 101 and load it, and here it's asking me memory size. We'll just skip past that. Terminal width 80. Want sine? No. Want random? No. Want square root? No. Okay, so now we're in a basic programming environment, and I can write little programs. So we'll do 10. Cool, so we can write a little program in there in BASIC. And there's all sorts of other things you can load in. You can load in CP/M, different operating systems, different mathematical programs and business programs and so on. So that's how you can use the Altair 8800 in a terminal environment. But there's something kind of unsatisfying about using a powerful modern computer to emulate a terminal to connect to an old-fashioned computer, even though this is a replica, obviously, and it's an emulation of an Altair 8800 running on an Arduino inside of there. So there's already more computing power inside this box than there was inside an original Altair 8800. But we've hidden that away, and now we've only got the interaction of the regular interface. But over here, we've got a Ryzen 5 laptop running a terminal emulator to connect to an old computer. It just feels wrong. So what are we going to do about that? Well, here's what we're going to do about that. So this is the Franken FT80 video terminal. And this is a dumb terminal which we can use to connect to this Altair 8800 computer. Let's get it connected, boot it up, and we'll see what it's like to use. Plugged in, let's power on. Switches around the back. And away we go. So there we go. I don't know if you can see that because it's a tiny little screen, but we've got our green blinking cursor there. So let's load in the menu like we did before. There it is, look at that. So let's do what we did before. So we'll load in 4K Basic. Want sine? No. Want random? No. Want square root? No. Okay, and let's just do the same as we did before. So we're going to write a little basic program. Now the keyboard layout on here is just really weird and awkward and very unfamiliar, with the spacebar embedded in the bottom row here as well. I've already had a play with this, and actually it's quite difficult to get to get used to the keyboard. But anyway, let's have a go. So we'll write our little basic program. So 10. And there we are. And the run speed is not affected by the fact that we have something here that has minimal computing power inside of it, because all of the computing is actually always happening over here, and it always was. But with the laptop, there was all this unused potential sitting there all the time, and it just felt offensive. So one of the other things I really like about this, and I'll have to just move the camera to show you. So the other fun thing I like about this is that my Altair 8800 clone fits so very nicely right on top of this terminal. How about that? Almost like that was made to measure. Well, here's the thing, it was. Time to come clean with you. This is not a vintage product. This is a dumb terminal that I built for myself using various different parts. I cobbled together screen, a dumb terminal emulator, keyboard, kind of Frankensteined it together. That's why it's the Franken terminal. Anyway, build montage time. So there is something kind of fun about the really restricted environment of this weird keyboard, this tiny screen, the fact that we can't use a mouse, that we can't move the window around or resize it or anything like that. The limitations here make this more challenging and therefore more stimulating to use. So I hope that was interesting. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.